Okay, so we have a DC1, all right, and I also have a second machine which is called DM1. Now I want to connect them to a internal virtual switch. So I will go to the Hyper-V manager first, and then you see this option on the right hand side, virtual switch manager. So I click on that, and then it gives me three options: external, internal, and private. So I will use this internal, and then I will create a virtual switch, and we can name it. So I have already created a virtual switch with the name of internal virtual switch. So you can change a name here. But if you don't change, it doesn't matter, but you need to remember that this name of this switch is new virtual switch. Okay? And the type is internal. This one. Internal network means this is your switch. Virtual machines are connected, and it's an internal private network. They don't have any connection to the external or the host operating system. So this is how we're going to create that internal virtual switch, which I already created. And then what we do, we connect this virtual machine card to this switch. So I'm creating this connection. From DC1, there is a network adapter here, and I will connect it to the internal virtual switch. Internal virtual switch. So how it is done? We go into the settings of the virtual machine by right-clicking it. Go to the settings, and here you see that this is a network adapter. And from here, we select this internal virtual switch which I have created. Select that, which is already selected, and say OK. Got it? For second DM1, I'll do the same thing. Settings, network adapter, internal virtual switch. OK. So now, this connection between server DC1 and server DM1 is created already. Now the rest is that I need to change IP addresses on these computers, and I need to change the names of these machines as well. So this is your basic configuration which we do on these machines. So let's go to server DC1 first. I will say password 01. So it opens server manager first. And all these steps which I'm going to show you here are the same for the VirtualBox and Hyper-V. It's the same, so I'm going to give you a reviews. Okay, so go to the local server, and you see that computer name is this, so we need to change that. Right now it is in workgroup. Also firewall is turned on, we need to turn it off. Moreover, this IP address is not assigned, so I need to change these three settings. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll start with the computer name. So that's the computer description, so we can this server DC1. Computer name server DC1. Okay, say okay. Oh, sorry. So there is a it's one. We should not put an exclamation mark. E is capital, so okay. Change it to E. Server DC1. Say okay. So we need to restart the computer. So I'll say okay. Apply it and restart this computer. Similarly, I will use this time to change my settings on the DM1. Password 01. Same settings I need to change here. So I'll go to local server. Again, you see that the computer name is there. It is work group. So I go here, description, I'll put server DM1, server DM1, okay, apply, and it will restart as well. Now I go to DC1, meanwhile again, so it is restarting, so a password 01, password 01, so I go to local server. Now you see that server name is DC1. I need to turn off these firewalls because the ping will not work. So I will not be able to verify that whether these machines are connected or not. So I need to turn it off. Turn off. Say OK. All right. Then I go to the IPv4 address. This is the card which is connected to internal virtual switch. So I'll go to the properties. And I will assign an IP address. So what should be the IP address here? What is the IP address here? So we're using 0.0/24 network, 192.168.0.1/24 IP address here. So this is your domain controller. Domain controller 192.168.0.1/24. DM1 will have an IP address of 192.168.0.2/24. Okay, so I put 192.168.0.1. Mask is /24, it will come as it is. Now because I'm not using any external network, so for domain controller, this default gateway will remain empty. There is nothing there. Please remember this thing. And then for DNS, this domain controller will become DNS. I will install DNS on this. So what I'm going to do, I will put 22.0.0.1, which is the loopback IP address. So what I'm saying here that you are the DNS server. So this is the domain controller configuration. Say OK. Say OK. All right. Now DM1. Password 01. Local server, so its name is changed to DM1, which is good. Still it is a work group, so don't worry about that. We will make this machine as a member of domain. So I'll turn off the firewalls first. Turn off the Windows firewall for public and private, say OK. And then assign an IP address, static IP address, properties. So that IP address is 192.168.0.2. Now default gateway, I will make the domain controller as the default gateway for domain member 1. Okay. If I need to take this machine out of this network, then the domain controller will be used as a default gateway. So 192.168.0.1 IP address. Also, domain controller will have a DNS server installed as well. So I will install shortly. So I'm going to put here as DNS server IP address of that domain controller 0.1. All right, and say okay. Okay. Now immediately it is recognizing the network. Now I will go to the domain controller and install two role services, Active Directory domain services, and then I will promote this as a domain controller. So ADDS and DNS using MCSA 2016.local as the domain name. So how we do that? Go to the manage, add roles and features. From here, say next. We're going to have a role-based, feature-based installation. Next. This is the, okay, so you need to check whether this IP address is there or not. You see over here that it is not showing the IP address. So we need to make sure that it is implemented. So let's go to CMD mode and say IP config. Yeah, so now it looks okay. So I will go to manage again, add roles and features, next, role based, next. Now you see that IP address is appearing. That's good. Say next. Now over here, Active Directory domain services. So check this box, add all the features. Also DNS server, two roles, DNS, add all features. Next, 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 next. Restart the destination server automatically if required. Okay, so I'll check this box and install. So that is now installing the, yeah. So Active Directory domain services plus DNS role, both roles are now installed on it. After that, I will promote it to as a domain controller, and over there I need to give this MCSA 2016.local as a domain name. And you see also that there is a yellow sign here which shows that you need to do after this installation. So it is feature is installed. So if I say close here, now it will take a restart. Why it is okay, now over here promote this server as a domain controller, add a new forest. Over here the domain name is MCSA 2016.local. So that's my domain name. Next. Okay, so these are the domain controller capabilities, global catalog, domain name server. So this is a password which for the restore mode. So you can choose the same password. 01 P capital password 01. Next. So don't worry about this delegation thing. Next. So NetVoice domain name for backward compatibility with NetVoice. So it will choose that same name, MCSA 2016. Next. So these are the database folder, log file folder, and sysvol folder for Active Directory. Next, keep it on the same. Next. Now it will check the prerequisites. Okay, now it has checked the prerequisites. Everything is okay. So I will install this and it will be promoted as a domain controller for MCSA 2016.local domain. Okay, now it is server is successfully configured as a domain controller. So we're going to close it and then it will take a restart itself. So now this server DC1 has a Active Directory domain services role, plus it has a DNS role installed on it. File services role is already by default installed and it has become a domain controller of MCSA 2016 domain. Now the next task is to add this DM1 as a member, domain member of this domain controller. So that's, I will show you also that how we're going to do it. Okay, so it has taken a restart now. So administrator, the password is password01. So I am on DC1. So now you will see that it has a role of, it is a domain controller plus DNS server for this whole small MCSA 2016.local. So you can see the domain name is MCSA 2016.local, server DC1, firewall is off. Now I will check the connectivity to DM1. So let's go to the command prompt. Command prompt, check your IP address first, IP config, and that's the right one. So I'll ping 192, ping 192.168.0.2, which is the IP address of the domain member 1. It's okay, good. Now I'll go to the domain member 1. So it's still in workgroup. Firewall is turned off, and then IP address is this. So I'll go to the command prompt, CMD, check your IP address, IP config, good. Default gateway mask is fine. So I'll ping the domain controller 192.168.0.1, which is okay. Now I'll make this machine member of the domain. So I'll go to this one, workgroup, I'll change it to domain MCSA 2016.local and say okay. Over here the administrator account MCSA 2016/administrator, and the password is the same password. So this is your domain controller or domain administrator user ID and password. Say okay. And you see welcome to the MCSA 2016.local domain. Okay, and then you need to restart the domain member 1. So this is how the domain member 1 will become a domain member. Restart now. Okay, so this is how we make on the Hyper-V a domain controller, install the Active Directory domain services role, install the DNS, create virtual switch internal, and then connect both machines, and then we make a domain member 1 as a member of domain MCSA 2016. Similarly, you need to do it for DM2 as well, which is your core server. For basic post-installation PowerShell commands, you can refer to the same book on Orange Book, the lab activities in chapter 2. Okay, so this is how we're gonna work